Hi, everyone. So this is one of those late night videos that I really just felt inspired to do, but I really don't have any insight as to what is going to be coming through here. So I just decided that before I go to bed, I'm going to open up the channel here and see what messages do want to come through. And so I'm going to start by sharing some of what I've been picking up on. And as always, use your intuition and only take the messages that connect with you in a personal way. But what I'm getting right away is that I am picking up on a very rare group of souls that have an unforgettable energy. So what I'm getting is that no connection in your life ever feels quite over. And the reason for that is because of the way in which your energy affects others and leaves an imprint on others. Now, when I say nothing ever feels quite over, what I mean by that is I'm picking up on someone who has the experience of, well, first of all, you experience time very strangely when it comes to your connections. Well, you know what? Now that we're opening up this channel, there's so much information pouring through. So clearly this is what I meant to talk about first, and we'll see where it goes from here. But what I'm getting first of all is the way you connect with others initially is highly spiritual. It's a highly spiritual process. Because you are not drawn to others, whether it's friends or people like strangers that you speak to or strike up a conversation with or interact with, or whether it's romantically, you are not drawn to others based on surface level things, based on logistics or things that look logical or even that really make sense to other people. I'm getting that anytime you are drawn to someone, it is a very spiritual pull, and you are drawn to them as a result of energy. And in fact, this has become so natural to you that you may not even be fully aware of the fact that most people operate so differently. You may not even fully realize just how energetically based all of your connections are, how every interaction, every connection, every moment that passes between you and another individual is essentially fated. It's an interaction that actually happens spiritually and energetically and then manifests in the physical world. But again, this is so natural to you that you don't even realize you're doing it. I'm getting that ever since you were a child, you've had this thing where sometimes there will be this pull to maybe compliment someone or smile at a stranger or say something encouraging to a person or to meet someone. I feel like all of the closest friendships you had in your past or in your life, although I am definitely picking up on a group of souls that tends to move into periods of solitude and someone who spent a lot of time alone. And we'll get into that later if it comes up again. However, anytime that you have had like groups of friends or a best friend or people that you were close to, even in your school age years, I'm getting that you can look back and realize that every single one of those bonds happened energetically first, that you quite literally just felt this pull to go and introduce yourself or to talk to that person or to that group of people. And so this is how all of your connections are formed. You are intuitively guided to interact with people in certain ways, and then it has led to the unfolding of the most meaningful connections that have been in your life. But again, I kind of say that in the past tense because I do feel as though you are someone who has had to say a lot of goodbyes to a lot of people. I'm getting the word transient. There's something about your energy that is very transient where you tend to move from, it's not even from one environment to the next, although that may be the case. Maybe you are someone who has moved around a lot or someone who has moved jobs or something of that nature. But I'm getting it's much deeper than that. You are someone who has a transient spirit in the sense that you actually move between dimensions and timelines. And you do this so fluidly that, again, you may not even realize that you do this. I'm also getting that you are someone who has the ability to move between timelines at will. But again, you do this so effortlessly that it just feels natural to you. Now, when it comes to your connections, time really feels irrelevant, whether it's a meaningful friendship or someone that you shared some kind of special moment with in the past, or a romantic person from your past. I'm getting that time can be very confusing to you because you perceive it very differently than other people perceive it. And this is further evidence, we'll say, of you operating at a higher level energetically than most people, because you are operating at a level where time quite literally doesn't exist. So at the level that you are operating at, there really is no time. And so for you, first of all, let's talk about the process of getting close to someone, because when you get close to someone, whether it's like a best friend or a romantic person, closeness for you is not about the amount of time you spend with that person. It's not even about the number of conversations that you have with that person. Closeness is about a shared openness, a shared spiritual and energetic openness that goes both ways, that's very mirrored. So if you are in a single conversation, let's say you're meeting someone, and in that one conversation, you're feeling this shared openness with that person, then you are going to open up with them and share parts of your world and yourself comfortably that there may be people that have known you for decades that don't know that information about you. Because again, for you, closeness isn't about the amount of time someone spends with you. It's about how open the bond is between you energetically, and your intuition is the one letting you know when there is that shared openness and it's safe to share information with that person, and when the connection or that person is more closed off energetically. So what I'm getting is a complication in your relationships is there are people who almost try to force their way into your life, or who have tried to force closeness in the past through proximity or through the level of physical time or physical effort that they are giving you. But that's just not how it works for you. So there are people who can feel frustrated because they feel almost like they are being kept on one level of knowing you. And it's like they know there's so much more on a deeper level, so much more to you that they'd like to explore and understand. And consciously, they have the desire to know you on a deeper level. And they may even ask you to open up to them more, to share more of yourself with them. But you cannot violate your own intuition. And your intuition lets you know when it's safe to open those deeper layers to this particular person, whoever it is in question, and when it is not. So in one conversation with a stranger, you could share more than you would with certain people who may have been in your life for years, who simply, for whatever reason, don't have that level of energetic openness to really have the capacity to hold whatever it is that you are sharing. The thing is, people don't really understand this at a conscious level, because there are people who feel that you open up too quickly, or that you get too close too fast with certain people, whether it's friends or romantic people in certain cases. But the only reason that you allow that rapid closeness is because your intuition in those instances is correctly letting you know that there is a huge amount of shared energetic openness between you and that person. But equally, there are people who are frustrated because they want to be closer to you, but they are closed off in their own energetic field. So they're trying to force the closeness with you in the physical through putting in more effort, putting in more time, trying to converse with you more, having longer conversations with you, spending more time around you physically. What they don't realize, though, is you are literally the high priestess. You are this divine mediator, meaning you spend more time in the energetic realm in a sense than you do in the physical. I mean, you're in the physical simultaneously. And of course, yes, this physical life experience is so essential and important and beautiful and all of those things. But you are someone driven mostly by how the energy is driving you and how the energy is guiding you. So someone literally cannot get close to you through physical action, effort, and time alone, because where you are up in the 5D, those things like the physical effort, the time, all of those things don't really exist in the same way. So that's the first thing that I wanted to talk about here. It's really interesting all of that came up because I wasn't expecting any of that. But I also wanted to talk about time in connection with disruptions in your relationships. So let's say that you stop talking to someone for some reason, or they stop talking to you, or the two of you seem to fall off in the physical or go no contact or whatever the case is. The thing is, for you, because you are in the 5D where no connection is ever really created or destroyed, it's only activated in a more conscious way. So for you, when you meet someone, it's like you're activating a connection that you've already been sensing or feeling energetically. In fact, whenever you meet someone significant, whether it's a friend or a lover in your life, this is someone that you've most likely either had visions about, had psychic dreams about, or at the very least had a sense was going to come into your life. And that sense was really you actually subconsciously, telepathically exchanging energy with their soul in the fifth dimension, even prior to having a face and a name to put to that energy in a concrete sense. And so what I'm getting is when a connection ends in the physical for you, it actually doesn't end for you. Those connections are kept alive for you. And I'm talking about the connections. I'm not talking about the fleeting connections. I'm talking about the ones that left an impression. Now, of course, a connection can be brief and still leave an impression, but I'm talking about any connection that left a really deep impression on you in some way, whether it was in a conversation or maybe a few weeks or a few months or a few years. When those connections end for you physically, when you stop physically seeing or communicating with those individuals, those connections do not end for you energetically. They continue to live on in the quantum realm, which again is the 5D, where you're spending a lot of your time. You're very much aware of the 5D. Now, that's not to say that the other person in these instances isn't also experiencing this subconscious energy transfer, because they are. But the key word there is subconscious, because you are someone who does so much exploratory work energetically within yourself, in the cosmos, in the spiritual realm, that you make the subconscious very conscious for you. You are unusually aware of what is happening subconsciously and energetically, whereas most people are mostly unaware of what's going on subconsciously for them. So while many people who are exchanging energy like this with you subconsciously after your connection ends with them are experiencing that, technically speaking, they may not be consciously aware of it, especially if they are very spiritually and energetically closed off. So what I'm getting is, because you're someone who's so guided by your intuition, and because connections operate like this for you, for example, you may at times reach out to an old friend or someone that you used to speak to or be close to, or that you shared something meaningful with, or a past lover, or whatever this is for you. And I'm getting, you are so open-hearted that your heart can sense when someone else's heart is hurting or when they're going through something. So you will especially feel guided to this when someone is going through something that you were connected to in the past, because again, that connection never really ended for you. You are actually still connected with that person in the quantum realm. And so what I'm getting is, often you are the recipient of almost like SOS signals that get sent out through the quantum field, and you pick up on it because your heart is very open. But often when you respond to that signal, you aren't always met with the same openness by the other person in the physical. So they, from their end, may be thinking that their connection with you ended years ago. But for you, that connection never ended because energetically, nothing is ever created or destroyed. It has continued to exist energetically. And so this can cause you at times to feel deeply unseen or misunderstood, because I'm hearing, while on some level, even if they don't speak it, these individuals do appreciate the role that you play spiritually, that you are, I'm hearing almost like this keeper in the energetic realm, meaning you tend to things, you take care of things energetically. And so when you sense that someone is out of sorts energetically and your heart picks up on that, or you just get this urge, like, I should contact this person, or I should send them just like a little funny text, or, reach out to them in some way, or send them some kind of love, you will follow that inner guidance, even if it doesn't really make sense from a logical perspective. And again, from the other person's end, this may look really random, or they may be telling themselves that this connection ended like months or years ago, but that's just not how it works for you on your end. And I feel that this makes the experience of physical linear time really confusing for you, because again, you are just perceiving that experience so differently from so many other people. And on top of that, you are someone who does seem to frequently travel into other timelines and dimensions, both past timelines, but also future timelines. I'm hearing that you are someone who often has found yourself, even from a young age, really replaying the past and feeling this strong connection to the past, but also heavily imagining and wondering about and even visualizing your own future. And the reason that you did this, that you would ruminate and loop through the past, but also think so heavily about the future, wasn't because there was something flawed within you. This actually was because you, even from that young age, were practicing your ability to send your energy out into future timelines, but also to send your energy into past timelines as well, to heal, to connect, to empower other people, or even yourself, just depending on the situation and circumstances. So I'm going to see if any other messages want to come through about this. I do feel I'm picking up on a soul who may have found themselves recently heavily feeling or thinking about a past timeline. And for some reason, I feel it may be a timeline between the years 2015 and 2018 for you, but that won't be the case for everyone. Specifically, the years 2016 and 2017 are standing out for me. So there may be someone from that time frame that recently re-entered your life or connected with you in some way, or maybe those years aren't relevant to you at all. Of course, only take the messages as they resonate. Now, I do want to share with you as well that in addition to these readings, I create powerful subliminals to help you deeply reprogram your subconscious mind, shift your energy, magnetize yourself for your desires, and manifest more effortlessly in your life. Personally, I have found subliminals to be the number one most effective tool in my own life when it comes to manifesting my own desires. I have been using them for almost a decade now, and I have seen the most profound shifts, results, and changes through using them. I still use my own Subliminals app every single day to continue manifesting the unfolding of my life and my desires. And I know so many of you have seen profound results from using them as well. Specifically, I've gotten so much positive feedback from one of my recent subliminals called Break No Contact. This one is super powerful for manifesting contact, communication, or interaction from someone that you desire to hear from. I have heard so many incredible stories from this one particular subliminal, including someone who recently told me that they listened to this, and someone who they hadn't spoken to in 8 years actually contacted them seemingly out of the blue after listening to this subliminal. I heard another story from someone saying that a person literally unblocked them, that had them blocked for 2 years, to contact them after they listened to this subliminal. So If there is someone that you'd like to manifest contact from, this could be so powerful for you. And you can try it out completely free using the free trial feature in my app. You can create a free trial account when you sign up in the app. And the link to download the app is in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. When you sign up, you can listen to any of the over 130 subliminals I've created in 10 different background sound options. You can also create your own custom private playlists. You can read the affirmations while you're listening, and you can even loop your playlist overnight while you're sleeping, which is one of my favorite features, because whenever I listen to my Subliminals app overnight, I always wake up feeling so energized, motivated, clear-minded, and magnetic. So yeah, I would love for you to try out my Subliminals for yourself. Again, you can try them free for a week using the free trial feature. And the link to download the app is underneath this video. Okay, so what else can I channel for the beautiful souls experiencing this strangeness around time? Let's talk about maybe that 2016. Ooh, I'm hearing something about a timeline from that time period, asking you to revisit it for the purpose of healing something. And when I tried to ask, is it healing something for you, for yourself, or for the other? The answer was yes, like both. It's healing something within you, but it's also healing something within someone else or within like the fabric of the timeline itself. I'm getting that there may have been something left behind very suddenly from those years, for those of you connecting with that like 2015 to 2018 range, where you or someone may have dropped off very suddenly or left something behind very suddenly. And there's this unresolved kind of energy. And I'm seeing like all of these happy, beautiful memories. And I'm hearing cut off too soon or like cut off too early. I feel like that timeline was actually meant to, there was this happy celebratory timeline, either in a relationship, a connection, an environment that was meant to go on for longer than it did. But it was cut short, I'm hearing, out of practicality or logic. So someone could have been operating from more of a 3D mindset and thinking to themselves, like, I have to let this go for XYZ reasons, or like rushing to move forward to the next thing. But there was something meant to unfold on that timeline or meant to be more fully experienced. So I'm hearing for some of you, you may have experienced a spiritual awakening around that time as well. And that could be part of what just suddenly shifted you out of that particular timeline. But now there's something about that time frame that actually seems to be calling you back. And there's something about being spontaneous with the Fool card here, like listening to your inner spontaneity. So if you just spontaneously do feel a desire to like revisit a particular place, or maybe to reach out to someone or to see how someone's doing, or, you know, something of that nature, I feel there's a message coming through here about allowing yourself to act on your spontaneity. I also feel like you're retrieving some fragmented aspect of yourself that is actually making you a more powerful manifester, or returning more power to you in some kind of way. With the Magician card in the reverse position, maybe this was a period of time in your life where you felt disempowered or powerless in some way, and somehow your consciousness or your psyche is being called back to this past timeline to retrieve some aspect of yourself. For some reason, I'm hearing something about intellect or intel or intelligence. Maybe there's some kind of intel that this timeline has for you, like some intelligence that it wants to give you, or maybe there was something you were learning or studying, or some part of yourself that was really interested in a particular course of study, or really intelligent on some subject, and you're meant to remember that intelligence within yourself and like bring it back and integrate it within yourself in some kind of way. That won't be for everyone. We have the Queen of Pentacles here as well, and the Empress. I feel for some of you, I know that this is such a strange esoteric reading. This is one of those where like, whoa, we're getting random years, we're getting like random details and like these waves of energy that I can't quite put together. So hopefully you can let me know in the comments if this is connecting for you. This does feel like a very particular kind of reading, but what I'm getting is with the Queen of Pentacles, the Empress, and the Hierophant, someone has called it's like I heard summoned, like someone has summoned you to this timeline. Someone has summoned you back to this timeline. I'm hearing that you may have told yourself like this was a period of time in your life that was just like a waste, or that you never wanted to revisit, or it was like really chaotic, but also happy. That's like the strange thing about this time. I feel like there was a lot of happiness here, but there was also something like illogical about it, or it felt very chaotic, or it felt like nothing was really progressing, or you may have felt disempowered, but there was also this genuine happiness there. I mean, maybe I'm speaking about a relationship at that time for some of you. But what I'm getting is that like you've been summoned back to this timeline for some kind of reason, because there's something that you're meant to retrieve here. And specifically, I keep getting like there's some aspect of yourself that you're meant to see because it's still part of you. And consciously recognizing that this is part of you is going to help you become a more powerful manifester in some way. And for some reason, I'm seeing an actual physical person like holding this part of you. Maybe there's someone from your past or from that period of time who really brought out this like side of you that was like really interested in a particular subject, or that was so intelligent or witty or funny or creative or something of that nature in a certain direction. And it's almost like you were called back to the person, not like for the sake of necessarily just re-enlivening some kind of past connection, but actually to reawaken the part of yourself that that person still held. I know this is like a very nuanced, complex energy. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the reading here, but I am going to be back on with another reading in, well, somewhere around like probably 6 hours or so from now. I will schedule that out. And the reason I'm saying that is I'm like still feeling this energy coming through, and there are just more messages that I want to get through in that particular reading. So stay tuned for that. And of course, if my vibe resonates with you, I would love for you to subscribe here on YouTube. And you can use my Break No Contact Subliminal if you do want to manifest contact from someone in your life, which again, the link to that is under the video. Otherwise, I am sending you all so much love. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you here again in the next video.